Sam Labrier is with 9/11 Truth up in Canada, up in Montreal. And he found out there was a conference called the New World Order, and he sent us the documents for it. They put out press releases. And I was familiar with the group. I'd read about it in SPP documents that we'd gotten through FOIA acts. The International Economic Forum of the Americas, Conference of Montreal, Adapting to a New World Order, 15th Annual Conference, Hilton, Montreal, Bonaventure Hotel, 8 to the 11th. So this ran through Thursday, ended Friday. Officially ended Thursday, but some still were there Friday. And just an amazing videos that he's posted. We've linked to him up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com, the police protecting it. But really that they put out this program. This is exactly what we say the Bilderberg Group's covering, because we've gotten some of their minutes, stolen them, and they've also publicly released some now because they're in everybody's face. And it calls for a global government, global governance, how to have the central banks take over. And so I thought we'd have him on about that, but also we only had him on twice. Haven't had him on from Thursday or Friday. What happened then? Let's go to Sam Labrier. Sam, good to have you here with us, my friend.
Hi, Alex. Good to talk to you. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you, Sam. Okay, recap the key of what was being covered there, who you saw, and all the new big developments that unfolded.
Well, one big thing that we learned about the conference is that it used to be done by invitation only, exactly like the Bilderberg meetings. And in the last few years, they've opened it up to the public more. You're able to buy your way in now, and apparently they're going to release all the text of all the speeches that were given on their own website because there was pressure from the public that this is too secret of a meeting and what's going on.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, they've decided hiding and saying Bilderberg and CFR didn't exist, as they did for decades, blew up in their face. So now they're going, yeah, there's world government, but it's loving. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we're still waiting to see those documents on the website, and we'll let you know. We'll keep in touch about that. They're still not up. The big thing on Wednesday was Madeleine Albright's speech, which was called The Americas and the New World Order. Now, when we were interviewing people that were coming out and asked them what she talked about, a lot of them said her speech was actually very boring, and she didn't talk about anything in particular. However, what we realized talking to a lot of these people that were coming out is if you think of the New World Order like a pyramid, and you got Rockefeller and Kissinger at the top, these are probably a few layers down in the pyramid.
This is a regional thing just to co-opt and to make the locals feel important and to make them feel important and identify resistors. So it's an intelligence gathering operation with all the phones tapped in the hotel, everything NSA, Global Run, GSGQ. Go ahead.
Right, exactly. It's basically propagandizing the local elites to get them on board with the agenda. So a lot of the people that we interviewed, they don't have really a concept of the New World Order, what's really going on. In fact, we talked to some, it's up on YouTube, who were actually friends with key Bilderbergers in the city, and they didn't even know that Bilderberg existed.
Yeah, for those that don't know, a local top banker in town comes out, it's on video, you're talking to him in French, but you have a translation there for those in the who don't speak French. And the issue is you see a top Bilderberg Group member stop, wave at him and say, don't talk too much to those guys, and then drive off. And then he said, yeah, I was inside. There's no global government. You're just, going after Ghost. Though I watched his body language, I think he was being deceptive. Go ahead.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I was there interviewing him, and if he was lying, he's a very good liar. Because we were convinced that he had never heard of Bilderberg. And
he was being arrogant.
Well,
let me just tell you, I'm a pretty good judge of people now after years of doing this. He had an arrogant, false aplomb on, and yes, he was BSing you in my opinion, but go ahead.
Well, regardless, so there was quite a few people who came out and told us that Madeleine Albright's speech was about nothing. When we pushed on some people, she said that she talked more about multilateralism and using the UN a lot more. And so it could be that if you knew what to listen for, there actually were important things in her speech, and just a lot of people didn't know what to listen for. We're not sure yet. We're hoping that they honor their promise and put up the full text.
Well, we know what was important. What they put out as their press release on their own website, that admits global government right there.
Yeah, towards global governance was on Monday, one of the key luncheons.
And like you said, UNESCO, the UN was there as the main sponsor with the Genome Quebec and the local newspapers. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was really funny, actually. On Tuesday, the genomics was the big thing. And on Wednesday, all the reporting in the media was talking about electric cars. The big results from Tuesday were that electric cars were the new big thing, and absolutely no mention of anything related to genetics.
All right, let me just go over this. It says Finance and Governance Monday, opening plenary session of the conference towards a new global economic order. Modernizing financial regulation, that's translated to mean a new global bank of the world that sets all the tax rates. They admit that. Making innovation strategies succeed in a globalized world, that means using federal regulators to shut down all their competition and only allow the development of technologies owned by globalists. The financial system, after the crisis, new actors, new issues, creating new dummy corporations. Migration, productivity, and competition, that means blasting out borders, further destroying sovereignty. The challenges of integration towards North American Union, that's what that means. The challenges of integration means integrating the countries. The New World Governance was discussed at noon. Anything on that? The New World Governance.
No, that was on Monday when there was a extreme police presence, and nobody would talk to us when they were coming out.
Yeah, that was the real deal. And then thriving in a new financial order. And then
the other interesting thing about the global governance in the actual pamphlet with all the different events, almost every event had a little blurb describing what was going to be talked about at the event, except for towards the global governance. Had absolutely no blurb, no description about what was going to be talked about.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the real stuff went on at 1700, opening cocktail.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's when all the $2,000 an hour hookers were brought in. And then it goes on, sustainable development and innovations. That means seizing the economy, totally controlling what everybody can do, except for select licensed global cartels. Agricultural production and food safety. That means NAIS, grabbing the farms, the ranches openly, minimizing risk to public health. That's what that means. This is on the second day. Energy in North America, key issues and opportunities. Again, shutting down the coal plants, only letting the globalists build their own systems. Opening planetary session. Energy and sustainable development in the context of economic crisis. The era of electric transportation in North America. Sustainable development, psychological health in the workplace. More rules, more regulation, more federal minders in your business. Tattling, spying, taxing, sucking, bossing, pimping, gangstering. Genomics towards a revolution, total eugenics takeover. The Energy Forum, sustainable development, renewable energy against putting, like Austin just passed, incredible for home sales or buying or any upgrades to your home. Huge regulations, zoning, always upping the regulations to where nobody can afford to even own a home anymore. If it leaks any energy or any air conditioning, you won't be able to have air conditioning, total shutdown and control. Why invest in genomics? Wednesday, public-private partnerships and infrastructure. That's the government paying all the taxpayer money to their wives and husbands and cousins in the open door, revolving door where the cash of big government goes into private interest hands. Number 4, European Union, America's free trade, the sensitive issues. That's making sure the U.S. doesn't have any protectionism, or Canada, and making sure Europe doesn't as well, so we can be fully destroyed economically by the third world, and to make sure that they then can't use us as trading partners to lift themselves as well. Number 9, plenary session, the economic crisis, international trade, which global market, lessons from Brazil, China, India. The Americas and the New World Order will be discussed at the luncheon. That's an impromptu deal, so it's all off record, of course, for the North American Union. And then Thursday, the economic crisis and the role of central banks, how far can they go? Meaning, how far can the raping and open power of the criminals go? That's asking locals, how much raping will the locals take before they, how many of us have to be homeless or our children kidnapped before we finally fight back to all the scum enforcers they have having their way with us? Go ahead, sir.
Right, and they had the Canadian and Mexican governors of their central banks there talk about the required joint action between central banks. This is straight out of the Bank of International Settlements playbook. These central bankers are on board 110% with the New World Order and integrating North America, one currency for the whole continent. I mean, the whole thing.
Just incredible, my friend. Go back to that conversation. Sorry, go ahead.
How much time do we have? Because I have a big announcement, but it might take a few minutes if we're about to go to break.
We have about 6 minutes left, so go make your big announcement.
Okay. Well, I'm also the creator of a website called Facts for Truth, which started last year, and what it was trying to organize facts campaigns for 9/11 truth. And with this recent happening, Glenn Beck labeling us as, or labeling the Holocaust Museum shooter as a hero to our movement,